So hello there, nice that you are here at the Linktab channel, that you are part of our community. I'm very excited today because we just started our first interview with our first guest, and he says that he's an ordinary guy, but don't believe him, he's an extraordinary guy. That guy that really transformed ordinary things into extraordinary things. And he is today here to tell us a little bit about his recipe about that. So, if you like the video, thumbs up, please subscribe to our channel and come with us. So hello there, nice Thiago, welcome, nice that you are here today with us. So, hope you're doing well, healthy and fine over there. Thanks for having accepted to be our first guest here in our channel, in our network. It means a lot to me actually. So could you please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your background?
Hi everyone, hi Marcella. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. And I also want to congratulate you for this amazing platform. As we all need to connect, we all need to share our experiences in life in order to achieve a goal. So I highly appreciate this platform, Linktab, and I think it's amazing. So my name is Thiago. I'm a Brazilian. Most of my life lived in Brazil. I was an ordinary boy, right? A kid and teenager. There was nothing extraordinary about me. I was not an athlete in school. I was not, the handsome guy, as you can see. I was not, the smart guy in class at all. I was very ordinary, regular. But I guess I had this friendly personality that I would talk to everyone. I would respect everyone. I would engage with all kinds of gangs in school, right? Like the hardcore guys, right? The nerds, the Barbies, right? And then my personality always put me in a spotlight as a consequence, right? And I was always engaged in those academic activities in terms of I was voted to be class representative, right? In school. Same thing in when I stepped into university, I was engaged in those activities mainly because of my personality, and helped me also develop some leadership skills as well, right? In terms of university, I end up studying dental school, right? My parents are both dentists, so I follow their footprints. About the third year in university I was looking for a job. I didn't have time at all, so I found this strategy to work as a sales distributor of healthcare products in my spare time, weekends, or my vacation. And that was my first experience as a salesperson. So I graduated and I accumulated 7 years of as a dentist in Brazil. I also specialized in orthodontics, so I'm an ortho specialist. And yeah, about 5 years ago, I came to Canada, and I've been working about 4 years in sales here in Canada. And I'm currently representing a major appliance company, leader in the market here in North America. And it's been a great challenge. Yep. And it's been fun.
Nice, very nice to hear. So thanks for that. Thanks for presenting yourself, and it's really my pleasure that you are here today with us. So Thiago, I know that we could spend hours and hours talking about your histories and experience because you're a storytelling guy. However, since we don't have that much time, would be interesting if you could focus on your decision to move to Canada actually with your whole family, right? I believe that you have constructed already a life in Brazil when you decided to go to Canada. Could you elaborate a little bit in what really motivated you to move to Canada?
Yeah, that's true. That's a great question, actually, Marcela, because our life was going well in Brazil. We were quite established. We had our apartment. We had our first kid in Brazil. But the Canadian plan, let's say, it wasn't like something that came out of nowhere, right? It was years of polishing a plan I initially had, actually. Just so you know, it wasn't a secondary plan. It was not a plan B, Canada. Plan Canada ended up being a matured plan, right? A derived plan from a first one, which I'm about to say. So even prior to getting to know my wife, Barbara, I had this thing, even during my university days, I would research universities in US so I could apply and try, entering a master's degree program, right? So whenever there were those education events, fairs, where American universities would attend, right? And I would, listen to lectures and get to know university representatives. Even when my wife, she would take a ride with me in my car, she would see a bunch of papers, folders, and business cards from all these universities. She was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Right? But anyways, one of these education fairs, I actually sat to hear a lecture about Canada. Years down the road, right? We were already settling down. I had my practice. We got married and all that. So once I heard that lecture about Canada, I got interested. I never thought about Canada before. I didn't even know much about Canada, like their culture, their about the economics of the country and all those things. But I got quite interested. I shared it with my wife. And it's interesting because from them, our plans start shifting. As opposed to be something that we would just go abroad, leave abroad for a few years, do a master's program, then come back to Brazil. We were like, why not? To establish in a country, right? And, raise our family, right? And because we were getting to know about more of the culture, of the place, lifestyle, and all that cool stuff, we were interested. And then we started replanning as we would open our minds, right? So as opposed to be, even in my post-graduation plans, I've changed it, right? So as opposed to be something in dentistry, I studied business, right? Because I had a background in sales. I was like, why not to do sales in healthcare, right? So like sell medical devices or dental equipment, and that's what I had in mind, right? When I came to Canada, so I did a post-grad in Canada, and then I ended up, getting my work permit and eventually my permanent residency, right? So that's how things work for Canada.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that. It's really great to hear. And what I would like also to ask, if you don't mind answering, if you had any type of accessory helping you out on this process of moving from Brazil to another country, or you went by your own with Barbara, finding out what are supposed guys to do.
Yes, we did have some support. We did have accessory and I highly recommend. Right, the kind of accessory we had was basically for university paperwork slash documents. So they helped us with the process of applying for university. By the way, just so you know, they don't do stuff for you, right? They don't give you money, they don't give you the documents. They will show you the path, right, and help you with. So you will need this, you go after those things. You need this amount of money, you work hard and you save money. And so it's always good. And I highly advise, right? If anyone wants, perhaps even the company I work with, there are quite a few which are quite good. I hear good things, but I worked with a specific one I could always share. But yeah, so they help with us identifying a few universities, even though I used to do research on my own as well. Especially if you know English. Of course, you need a good level of English even to apply to universities, right? So yeah, accessories is quite important, and we definitely we used it.
And I believe it's a great help also to others that are thinking about, right, moving and living abroad to another country, so they wouldn't start from the zero, from bottom up. They would have an accessory, and they could go on with their normal life that they have here in Brazil. So so when you get into Canada, how was actually college for you? How was the beginning for you and your wife in this new world? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
So so my so college here, post graduation here, especially for me, it was challenging, right?
Can imagine.
Because I had a healthcare background, like in terms of formal studies, right? I've never studied business before, never studied economics, accounting. So that for me was quite challenging, learning all those subjects in a different language, right? Even though I had a reasonable English level, but still you start learning technical language, right? So that was quite challenging for me. On top of that, I had to work. So once you get a study permit, you can still work for about 20 hours. So that's a part-time job, right? 20 hours a week. And I had no option but to get a job as well. And so getting used to a post-graduation, right? Having to work 20 hours per week and being able to manage that with, spending time with your family, in my case, right? And I had a small kid and he was growing. I could not just, so I want to put a lot of effort to spend as much time as I could with him, right? And I don't regret for a minute because he had my attention, right? And it was a couple of years that I slept fewer hours per night. I can tell you that for sure. But it was worth it in the end of the day, right? It was worth it.
Great to hear, of course. And today, I believe that's a little bit different from what it was when you get there. But how do you see the market in Canada for someone that is really trying to immigrate over there, right? And do you believe, do you know if there are any type of restrictions to work in certain types of fields or industry over there? Could you tell us a little bit?
So, the market here in Canada, it can be harder for some industries. I've seen people from IT, for instance. It doesn't mean it's easy, but I see people getting to the field looks like it's easier than other industry, for instances, right? So it depends. You need to put some effort and read and study about it. Just so you know, some professions you cannot even work in Canada. For instance, I'm a dentist. I could not work in dentistry here. A doctor, right? A lawyer. So there's a process to validate your diploma in order to be able even to get into to work here, right? So other professions such as business, right? You could work IT as well, right? There are a few others. So whoever is planning on coming to Canada, do some research. In my case, again, when I initially thought about Canada, I did do some research on dentistry, and I had to spend a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, investing and validating my diploma and all that. So some people would ask, is it worth it? Is it worth it to validate my diploma, to invest that much money? I'm a lawyer, I'm a dentist. It depends on you, right? So if you, I know people that's like, oh my gosh, I'm a lawyer and I can't do anything else in my life, right? I'm not the kind of person, even though I like dentistry, I'm not the kind of person that if I don't do dentistry, I would die. No, there's something that we all talk about, which are transferable skills, right? The 7 years of experience I had in dentistry in Brazil, I didn't put in the garbage, right? All the skills I developed in my life through my dentistry profession, I use in business, right? So, and I like what I'm doing. If I was doing something that I did not like, that I did not enjoy, because I had sales experience in the past, the transition into sales again, I kind of knew, right, where I was going to step into. So for me, it was a win-win situation, right? So again, every single situation, it needs to be considered. It needs to be, the person needs to be very thoughtful in this process, and it needs to be honest, it needs to be a passion. It needs to be something that they're very into, right? Because the process is not easy. I'll be honest with you, right? Moving away from your relative, from your friend, from the comfort of your culture, and break through something new, something, people don't know you. You need to gain respect in the workforce and all, build a reputation, right? So, but whoever is into this, is passionate about it, has a dream about it, I would definitely encourage researching, connecting with people, asking questions, looking after accessory, and there's a bunch of content online through YouTube, Google itself, and if you do your research, you will find your path to reach to your goals for sure.
Wow. Great to hear, Thiago. Amazing. So, tell me a little bit, this career swap you have made going to Canada. I believe people feel so afraid. For example, I do myself feel afraid, to let it go on business and let me do pretty much a medical school, right? Something like that swap into your situation. So, to have a successful career totally change like that, how do I'm in a certain point of my career and then I decided to swap and I will need to swim all over again, right? That was your case. It was not that you're frustrated or that you would I have nowhere to go in the dentistry path or anything like that, but you kind of, I believe that I'm good in dentistry, but I believe that I can be good and successful also in business and whatever, right? So, what actually do you believe that really contributed to your success in this period of time that you have moved there, right? In such a short period, you have a great job. You work in a fantastic multinational company. So how that was for you? What do you believe it really helped you out over there?
Well, I think one of the things that contributed to my success here was planning ahead, looking into the future, and anticipating the struggles, the battles that I was going to go through, right? Many times, whenever we are thinking about something, oh, do you know what? I want to live abroad. I want to do this. We usually tend to focus on the extraordinary things. Oh my gosh, the life, oh, the technology there, the quality of life, it's amazing. These and that. Brazil does not have this, or that country does not have it. They have it. So they start focusing on, the cherry on the cake, right? As opposed to actually be mindful of, okay, what are the struggles? What are the battles? I have this much money. What kind of place, this much money, I can afford to live? Okay, I will be living in a basement as opposed to living in a house, or I'm living in a small apartment as opposed to living in a nice house, right? Are you okay with that? Are you mindful of those things that you'll be going through, right? So it's to be, you need to, again, plan ahead, be realistic. Don't start dreaming about again, the cherry on the cake, the nice stuff about it or the country. You have time to enjoy all of that, right? But at first, you need to be focused. Just a quick thing I want to share. Funny thing, in my post graduation, when I came to Toronto, Canada, initially I was living in Toronto. And some of my colleagues in my post graduation class, right? Some of my colleagues, they would enjoy the weekends. They would go everywhere. They would go to Toronto Aquarium. They would go to an island, take a boat, spend so much money on restaurants and stuff like that. Whereas I would just save money. I would not spend my weekends or sleep late at night to do stuff here and there. I was focused. I'll have time to enjoy, to go to CN Tower, to go to spend money in museums, or all that kind of cool stuff. But I was focused on my goal, on the path I had to go. I need to save money. I also had a family, right? Some of my colleagues also had a family. Anyways, what I want to highlight here is that I end up finishing school having one of the highest grades in my class. I got, as soon as I left my post graduation, I had a great job, right? Because I was connecting with people. During vacation time, I was not traveling across Canada. I was engaging in job fairs, right? Connecting. I associated myself with the Canadian Professional Sales Association, right? A funny thing is that after vacation, summer vacation in Canada, which people go, they go crazy, they go to the beaches, they do all kinds of stuff. When I came back, people were sharing their experience. Oh, I went there. Some people, I had a couple of friends who went to US, right? And they were, what did you do? Nothing. Nothing in terms of like tourism. I didn't do anything. But guess what? I have affiliated myself to the Canadian Professional Association. I did this. I did that. And it was like, whoa, right? So again, it's focus, passion, right? And be mindful what you're going through. And again, it's just a short time it's a short period of time, right? 2 years, it is tough while you're going through, but it goes like that as well. So if you're focused, if you're passionate about it, you can definitely make it and achieve your goals for sure.
Wow, great. Very nice to hear that. Yeah, focus, compromise, determination, right? Setting up your goals and focus on your action plan to achieve it. It's all about that, but it's hard to do it, isn't it? It's easy to say that, but it's really hard to do it in practice. So, Thiago, last but not least, what would you suggest to the people that might be interested in leaving their country? And what do you believe that is the most important thing that they should consider before doing it? Do you believe that this lesson you learn can also be applied to others, for example, from other countries that want to live abroad? What do you think about it?
Well, if I were to give a piece of advice to someone, is don't be deceived by the extraordinary. Okay, it's common for us to be attached and to value extraordinary things, right? So we have like an extraordinary experience. We traveled to Europe. We met someone important, right? Like an actor or whatever. We had that extraordinary moment, and we value that so much, right? And maybe we got excited for a few days after that encounter, after that experience, and right, it goes up. Our emotions goes up, skyrocket, but then, right, we fall into the same, back to our ordinary lives, right? And we are kind of like expecting the next extraordinary moment. Okay, when I will do that again, oh, what's my next adventure, right? And we kind of get stuck to those moments, and we just we kind of undervalue our ordinary life. And do you know what? There's nothing wrong with an ordinary life, right? I will tell you why. If you study the very majority of extraordinary people, they had a very ordinary life. They had to study like crazy. Maybe, do you know what was extraordinary about them? They had like an extraordinary passion. Yes, they had like an extraordinary focus. But if you study their lives, like their biography, they had ordinary lives. They studied like crazy. Many of them were poor, right? So, again, don't undervalue your life, right? Some people, lose time. Oh, I had friends who had like a dream of living, in France, or doing like a post-graduation in France. And I asked them, oh, nice. So you have this dream? Yes, I have this dream. So are you studying French? How is your studies? What are you doing to achieve that? You're like, oh, you know what? It's so hard, right? So it's like our dream, we put in a position that not even us are able to reach that, right? So it's something so extraordinary that I can achieve, right? It's so far away from me. But again, the path to the extraordinary is ordinary. You know what's the path? First thing, if you need, start studying. Devote time to your path. You need to go to France to study your postgrad. Okay, start studying French. First thing. Every day, an hour. Minimum. Right? Second thing, save money. Oh, I don't have money. Of course you don't have money. Start going once a week to a movie. Right? You will be amazed by the amount of money you spend with, unimportant things, right? So we need to cut the excuses. We should live our ordinary lives and make out of our ordinary extraordinary achievements, right? So this is this is kind of my life philosophy, right? Make out of your ordinary extraordinary, right? And if you start having this mindset, you won't limit yourself to where you are right now, right? Because again, living an ordinary life doesn't mean you won't achieve extraordinary goals. So I hope that helped you somehow, right? Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me, to listen to an ordinary guy who is working hard to achieve extraordinary goals.
Very nice, Thiago. Thank you very much for accepting this invitation and talking to us today. It was really great and so inspiring to hear your history. If you want something, go for it, right? No excuses.
Again, thank you for your time. Thanks for your attention. Thank you again, Marcela, for the invitation. Put myself available if in the future we had a second conversation. And see you guys next time. Bye bye. Take care.
You're welcome if you want to come and talk more with our community here at Linktab. I really enjoy. If you like the video too, subscribe and leave your comments, leave your feedbacks below. It will be great to hear from you. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.